A very good evening to all, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. Today is the 20th July 2023. It's a Thursday class. So as usual, we will be having our physical puja together. Namo 本师释迦牟尼佛。Namo 本师释迦牟尼佛。Namo 本师释迦牟尼佛。南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无佛菩萨，南无佛菩萨，南无佛菩萨。阿拉汉萨玛萨布多巴嘎哇，布当巴嘎วัน当阿比瓦提米。Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namassami Supatipano Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Sanghang Namami Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dhammang saranang gacchami, Sanghang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami. Panatipata Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Adinadana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Kamesu Miccācara Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Musawada Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Surameraya Majapamadatthana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. We will continue our chanting from page 3, Padipa Puja. Kanna sarapatitena dipena tamadangsina tiloka dipang sambuddhang pujayami tamonudang ganda sambarayutena dupena hang suganghina pujaye pujaniyang tang Puja bhajana muttamang Ganna ganda gunupetang Etang kusuma santatin Pujayami munindasa Siri pada sarorohe Pujemi bedang kesumena nena Punnena matena ca hotu mokkang Upang milayati yata idang me Kayo tatayati vinasa bhavang adivase tuno bante paniyang parikapitang anukampang upadaya patigan hatu muttamang adivase tuno bante pale parikapitang anukampang upadaya patigan hatu muttamang adivase tuno bante bojanang parikapitang anukampang upadaya patigan hatu muttamang. Now we'll chant our puja aspirations based on our understanding of the significance of all these puja offerings. Significance of offering of light. May this offering of light to the Buddha brings forth the causes and conditions to illuminate our mind and help arise the needed clarity and understanding to dispel all darkness or ignorance therein. Significance of offering of water. May this offering of pure, clear, cool water lead us to the pure, clear Dhamma that cools and doses off the fires of all defilements within our mind. Significance of offering of incense. May our morality, virtue, and understanding shine forth far and wide, just like the fragrance of this incense, which we are offering to the Blessed One, who is perfect in wisdom and virtue. Significance of offering of fruits. May this offering of fruits remind us of the dana parami of generosity and the fruit of our karma, so that we will diligently strive on with heedfulness to attain the path and fruition as soon as possible. Significance of offering of flowers. May this constant offering of flowers to the Blessed One strengthen our faith and constantly remind us of the impermanence of this body, so that we will diligently and sincerely strive on to cultivate sila, samadhi, and panya, leading to ultimate liberation, the born-free nibbana. Making of overall aspiration. By the power of all these merits born of these offerings, may our spiritual faculties of Sada, Virya, Sati, Samadhi, and Panya be further strengthened until they become balas or powers. Sharing and transfer of merits to all beings. May these merits be shared and transferred to all beings without exception, especially to those who have the condition and affinity to receive them. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, let us pay respect, triple jam. Buddhang pujayami. Dhammang pujayami. Sanghang pujayami. After a break of 1 whole week, I think, almost 1.5 weeks, because I and some Kalyamita went to Sabah. We have our trip in Sabah. So because of that, we have a break. So today is our Thursday where we continue back our session. I think we will be following this book straight from the heart. Unique Dhamma code as compiled by me. So we are at Dhamma code unique, Dhamma code 79. So after the meditation, we will continue our sharing on that unique code. As usual, remember the first 3 of the 4 support. Relax, maintain awareness, stabilize the awareness. Just do these three. Relax means relax body and mind, completely at ease. Then whatever tension, tightness or stress within, the physical or the mental, just relax into it. Let things be. Don't go and create thought or thinking over it, especially the unnecessary worry, fear, anxiety. Just tell yourself you need this particular half an hour space to develop the awareness within, to stabilize your awareness nature, so that you can develop the silent mind to realize the meditative mind, to help you develop wisdom and understanding within. Then after that, just maintain awareness. Whatever arises, aware, finish. No need to know, no need to continue the thinking, no need to do anything. Don't try to do, don't try to know. Just aware, finish. Aware, finish. Whatever arises, it can be a tactile, aware, finish. Or it can be a sound or vibration, where trigger of the hearing consciousness. So just aware of that thing, without words, without name, without label, aware, finish. Similarly, the other senses, smell, taste, tactile, and thought process. So whatever that arises within the six sense door, six sense bases, just maintain awareness. Aware, finish. Aware, finish. And then let the mind settle down, until it becomes very quiet, very still. The sankhara activity, you don't give it any more meaning, any more thought energy, it will slow down, and finally cease. When it ceases, you will realize your true mind, your silent mind, your meditative mind, your true nature within, your awareness nature. And that is the most important training. That is to develop awareness within. Okay? Then the third support is to stabilize the awareness that you have already developed. And then after that, that mind is the meditative mind with the spiritual faculty of sati. Saddha, virya, sati. Then you stabilize it, it will have samadhi. Then it can see things as they are, it can awaken, it can insight into phenomena, develop all the understanding and the wisdom. That's what awareness-based meditation is all about. You all can slowly, fine, come out of the meditation. Try to maintain whatever inner peace, inner calmness, and inner awareness that you have developed for as long as you can. This is the trained meditative mind in awareness that you will need to develop the wisdom, and also stabilize it so that it can become a part of your nature, help you live life, understand life, and develop all the necessary understanding and wisdom to awaken. So this unique code 79 is from this book, straight from the heart, unique Dhamma code, as compiled by me. I'll read to you this code. This will give you very useful understanding. That's why it's called unique code. It's unique in that sense. Unique code number 79. When you walk this path of Dhamma, means you are developing the cultivation to develop the Dhamma understanding. You develop wisdom leading to virtue. So here, the word develop wisdom leading to virtue is very important. why you must be in this particular sequence. You must develop the wisdom first, then only it will lead to true virtue. Naturally, yeah? Because without wisdom, there is no genuine virtue. So this particular unique code, if you can understand, you will know how to develop it. If you don't have the understanding, then what normally people do is they try to develop virtue, they try to be good, they try to have all the loving kindness, the compassion and all those things. But without wisdom, this type of mind state cannot develop the pure virtue. So what we are referring to here is pure virtue. Pure virtue need wisdom. Wisdom according to the individual may not be the true wisdom. So good according to the individual may not be the true absolute good. That's why in this existential world of ours, or what we call the conditioned world of ours, we have a lot of problems leading to conflict and misunderstanding is because each and every one of us, we have our own version of good, virtue, and honesty. But when you cultivate the Dhamma, when you walk this path of Dhamma, when you awaken, when you develop the wisdom and awaken, then you will come to a profound understanding, a realization which will transform our nature. Means character-wise, personality-wise, understanding-wise, we will become very different. So this code is very unique and very important. I'll read it again. When you walk this path of Dhamma, you develop wisdom leading to virtue. So without wisdom, there are no genuine virtue. So this word, wisdom leading to virtue naturally, is very important. It's a natural process. Without wisdom, there can be no true virtue or genuine real virtue. So without true wisdom, you cannot develop pure virtue. Just when we talk about virtue, is without delusion. That's why during the early days, the time of this Bodhidharma, when he came over from India and became the first patriarch of China, he was invited by the emperor then. Then the emperor then was very interested in his teaching and the Dhamma and all those things. So he has strong faith, he has strong belief. Then he supported the sasana, he supported all the work that need to be done, like the translation, the ordination, the building of temples, and the holding of Dhamma assembly and meditative assembly and all the rest. So after he has done a lot of all this, he thought he has developed a lot of virtue, a lot of merits and wholesomeness. And one day when he was with Bodhidharma, he asked Bodhidharma, he said, based on what I have done, the support for the monks, the sasana, the building of the temple, providing for the food and everything that they need, how much virtue or merits do you think I have developed? So the emperor expects a very appropriate answer that will make him feel good and happy. But he was shocked when Bodhidharma told him, none. zero. He dare not get angry and he dare not argue with Bodhidharma. Then he just kept quiet and let it be. Then later on, I think, after some time, the emperor had another Dhamma teacher or advisor to advise him. So when he related the incident to that teacher, the teacher said, Bodhidharma was right, because your virtue and merit is not based on true understanding, because he is an enlightened being. For him, true virtue is without delusion. Means you must not even have any sakayaditi or self-delusion. When you still have a self-delusion or sakayaditi that you believe you exist and you are doing all this, and all this constitute merits or virtue, and then it's not pure merits. Even the fifth patriarch also mentioned it to the assembly when he asked them to come out with the suitable, appropriate poems so that they can be worthy of the patriarchship or the insignia and the robe to qualify to be the next patriarch. He said, and now do not go after tinted merits. So the word tinted merit is very important. They are not pure merit or true merit. So tinted merit means it's not pure, it's tinted with something. So when there is this utter or ego, personality, which is sakayaditi, self-delusion, then whatever you do, it cannot be true merits or pure merits. It's already tinted. Because everything you do, when you define it as merit, is merit according to you, the individual, who has the sakayaditi or self-delusion. So because of that, when it comes to cultivation, the true cultivator of the way will understand, without wisdom, you cannot develop true merits, or pure merits cannot arise. So because of that, in those two circumstances, when Bodhidharma was with the emperor and later on the fifth patriarch, he said, do not go after tinted merit. Strive on to develop the cultivation so that you can awaken, and write me a stanza so that it will qualify you to be worthy of the patriarchship, to take over from the fifth patriarch. So all these are clearly described in the sutta, the Mahayana Sutta. So based on all this understanding, you will understand why in the unique quote I mentioned, when you walk the path of Dhamma, you will develop wisdom leading to virtue naturally. Because without wisdom, there is no genuine virtue. So hopefully by now, it's clear. But you don't go and worry about this and go and conclude wrongly. Because sometimes people may just misinterpret what I said or quote me without understanding, they get into trouble. Here we are talking about cultivation. We are talking to beings that have developed the Dhamma understanding, the awakening. That's why to them, merit means pure merits. But normal people, they have to start from somewhere, understand, while we are developing our cultivation. So initially, It is based on whatever understanding that the individual has. Then they start. And there is no such thing as right and wrong about how you do it, because everyone is different. But basically, if you are not enlightened, you don't have the wisdom, the Dhamma understanding, the awakening, then whatever you do is not pure merit. So that one is definite. But cultivation normally goes through a process, because before you awaken, you already have developed the interest to cultivate or to maybe practice. That's why the word practice comes in. Practice to be good. Then this word practice is very dangerous, because a lot of things in life we need to understand. When it comes to spiritual, when it comes to like cultivation, that word is not so appropriate. Practice. Practice means practicing something repetitive, develop skill and all those things. That's why you practice. Like you practice how to excel in maybe certain sports or certain type of activity, to be good in certain field. And that one you need constant practice, diligent practice, repetitive, polish up your stroke still, then become very good. So that is practice. But when it comes to cultivating wisdom, the spiritual understanding, we cannot practice, because the practice is always by the thought who practice. We need to develop the appropriate understanding to cultivate. That's why cultivation is different from practicing. When we cultivate means we develop understanding to cultivate the Dhamma, so that this Dhamma can be awakened to, so that we can insight into phenomena and awaken to its universal characteristics, especially the three universal characteristics of anicca, dukkha, and anatta. Means impermanence, suffering state, and non-self or empty nature or existence. So when it comes to cultivation, we develop the understanding out of it. So when we understand that this process or this transformation can only happen when you develop it appropriately, following the understanding. That's why if you look at the teaching, if you look at the sutta, everything points towards that direction, understanding what the words of the Buddha are. So most people fail to have the understanding because they approach it from the thought process. They use thought-based approach to read up the sutta, then come out with their own knowledge of what the sutta say. Then they come out with various method, techniques, and even skillful means to cultivate, to develop the meditation, to so-called practice. So you do that means you fail to understand the teaching. Because according to the teaching, the Buddha emphasizes on one very important keyword: sati, mindfulness, awareness. We always hear the enlightened being mention this word. For sati is life. Without sati, you are as if dead. And the meaning is, you look at Dhammapada verse 21, 22, 23, which the Buddha every time proclaimed to the monks. The key word is heedfulness, apamada. Heedfulness is very important, in cultivation. Heedfulness is the path to the deathless. The heedful never die. Whereas heedlessness is the path to the dead. The heedless are as if dead. So this Dhamma pada verse 21 is very clear. We need to be heedful, otherwise we are as if dead, heedless. And what is heedfulness? What is heedless? We need to understand. So Dhamma pada verse 23 define what heedfulness is. He said, the ever mindful, constantly meditative, they will realize the supreme enlightenment called Nibbana. So this is heedfulness. Ever mindful, constantly meditative. So how can you be in that state of ever mindful or ever aware? Because to be mindful is to be aware, without thought. So initially we need to train our mind to be aware or mindful. Then stabilize it to be ever mindful. Then use it to meditate, to cultivate. And that is what heedfulness is all about. And a lot of people fail to understand what mindfulness is. That's why that word cannot be linked to heedfulness. So if you don't understand mindfulness, you cannot understand heedfulness. So to be heedful is to be ever mindful, constantly meditative. Ever mindful means ever aware, constantly aware, without thought. That's why I call it the awareness-based meditation. You must develop the meditative mind, the silent mind, the inner awareness within to cultivate, to develop the understanding, to awaken, to insight into phenomena, to see things as they are, so that you can develop the understanding and the wisdom. And the sixth patriarch, Huineng, Master Huineng, he defined it in a different way. He said, to meditate, to develop understanding, you must develop these three hallmarks. And the first hallmark is the state of no thought, 无念的境界. You must develop this ability to be silent without thought within 无念, the hallmark. That's why I always say, without thought, you are already aware, naturally aware. But when you are lost in thought, you cannot be aware because you are preoccupied with that thought process. So I always use this example. Man can only do one thing at a time. This one will make the understanding clearer and easy to comprehend and follow. Why did I say that? As a human being, you can check, you can develop your own investigation. Most of the time, what are you doing? If you really pay attention, you realize human beings think a lot. They think a lot. They are very heedless. Like they cannot be with a moment without thought. They can hardly develop a space between thought to be just aware, completely silent, without thought activity or mental activity. They can't. So because of that, they can never develop the understanding of what awareness is, what that silent mind is, what that true mind is, what that awareness nature, the true nature within is. And that is what our true mind is. Whereas the mundane mind is the one that spin off from that true nature or true mind, the awareness nature. And they fail to see these two. That's why they fail to realize that they have two minds. One is the pure mind, the other one is the dependent originating mind, or what we call the mundane mind, the thinking mind. So when I say we can only do one thing at a time, means what? Either you are completely silent, aware without thought, to be aware of what is going on in life within the moment. If you are not in this state, what state are you in? It's very obvious. Either you have thought or you don't have thought. Can you be with the moment without thought? Most of the time, or if possible, all the time. Human being cannot, unless they have developed the training, the stability of sati and awareness nature, or they are the great beings, the bodhisattva with the mundane mind collapse already. Yeah. So this aspect of understanding is very important. So check every moment, every instant. Are you lost in thought, preoccupied with the sankhara activity, the thinking activity, worrying about life, arguing about life, develop attachment, craving, clinging, and grasping onto things that thought create. So all this is what thought is all about. So if you keep on developing the heedless thinking, then you are lost in thought, preoccupied with what you think. So how can you be aware? How can you be within the moment, completely without thought, silent, to be aware of what is going on within nature, within life? If you cannot have this mind, which is the awareness nature, then you cannot observe, you cannot understand. So what you are doing is, you are all the time heedlessly thinking based on memory. And what is memory? All your accumulated experiences or knowledge, good and bad, wholesome and unwholesome. So all this is what we call your accumulated experiences or views, opinion, conditioning, belief system, including your fear, your phobia, your insecurity, your mind states. It can be happy or negativity or mind state. So all this you accumulate in your brain. Then you use that brain to think. Your thought is response to that memory. That's why all the things that come out from there is thought-based. And because it's thought-based, it has its own prejudice. It has its own delusion. Because it's full of accumulated rubbish. Most of it. Your fear, your phobia, your views, your opinion, your conditioning, your belief system. From there, you act. Acting according to memory is not acting at all. You cannot act based on your fear, your insecurity, your phobia, your selfishness, your greed, your sakkayaditi, your belief system. So all this is what thought is doing. That's why thought divine. Then thought is limited because it's only within the content that you create through the content of consciousness you input. That's why it don't have the vastness of awareness, the awareness nature to observe, to awaken, to understand, to insight in the phenomenon. It cannot do that. It is thought. Basically, it's thought. So when you are trapped in thought, lost in thought, that is the instrument that will limit you from developing the pure understanding, the awakening. So because of that, before you become enlightened, whatever you do will lead to tinted merits. It will not be pure merit, born of wisdom and virtue, true virtue. Yeah. So hopefully with this explanation, this understanding is clear by now. Then I will read on the next quote. True virtue must be accompanied by wisdom, otherwise it's virtue according to oneself. So now this one becomes very obvious, this unicorn. Right according to you, good according to you. It is not nature's way of defining good and bad, right and wrong. Because these are duality created by thought. That's why I say thought divine. And because of that division, it creates conflict, argument, war, leading to misunderstanding, controversy, and a lot of ideas which are not wisdom. So all these are fabricated by thought, created by thought, through thought-based activity. That's why thought, being a limited instrument, cannot realize the Dhamma which is beyond thought, beyond mind. The Dhamma as defined by the Buddha is under the salutation to the Dhamma. The Buddha says, Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo. Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo means this Dhamma is well expounded by the Buddha. Then the Buddha continued by expressing the characteristics of this Dhamma. He says, Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo. Then this Dhamma is Sanditiko, Akaliko, Ehipaseko, and Opanayiko. There is Pacetang, Veditabo, Vinohiti. So the meaning is, this Dhamma is Sanditiko, can be realized in the here and the now. No need to wait after you die. Then the promised salvation, the whatever they promise you, the afterlife and all those things. Then not only is Sanditiko, it's Akaliko. He said, this Dhamma is Akaliko, means timeless, beyond thought, beyond time. So Sanditiko, Akaliko, Ehipaseko is the third unique characteristic of this Dhamma. Ehipaseko means you can come and investigate into it, where it is the truth. So it can stand up to investigation. So the beauty of this Dhamma is you must check your cultivation based on this salutation of the Dhamma that the Buddha has taught you. Is what you have realized knowledge or wisdom? If it's knowledge, you will not have that thing that the Buddha described just now. If it's wisdom, yes, then it is Sanditiko, can be realized in the here and the now, before I die. There is Akaliko, which is beyond thought, beyond mind. Then how can you use thought as an instrument to go and look for that Dhamma? Where the instrument that you use, thought-based, limits you. It can never realize a state that is beyond thought, beyond mind. So this is obvious. Then it stands up to investigation, ehipasiko. Like Dhammapada verse 1, verse 2, you can investigate into it and realize the truth behind. And all the essential Dhamma that the Buddha has taught, apart from the Dhammapada verse, you can also investigate into it. They stand up to investigation. That's why the Dhamma is very unique. It has all these characteristics. Yeah. Then after that, it has another very important unique characteristic. It is not only Sanditiko, Akaliko, Ehipasiko, but Opanayiko, leading inward into our nature. So Opanayiko. Then the last characteristic is Pacetang Veditabo Vinohiti. Means this Dhamma can only be realized by the wise, each for themselves, nobody else. Unless you awaken, you cannot realize that Dhamma. The moment you realize, you awaken, then it is Pacheta. So this teaching is very beautiful, very unique, and very, very amazing and wonderful. So when you understand, all this will fall into place. Yeah. That's why this unique code is very useful. True virtue must be accompanied by wisdom. Otherwise, it's virtue according to oneself. Yeah. Then I need to maybe explain to you all one more understanding which is very important. So just now I mentioned about duality within the conditioned world, thought divide, and how through Sakayaditi, through thought, you create duality. So we come back to this chart, which is very important. So just quickly, as a revision, how to understand who we are, what we are. Everything starts from here, the original nature, or true nature, or the oneness nature. Sometimes they call it the source. So this is the beginning. Then the scientists call it the singularity. From there, everything starts, everything manifests. If you meditate, if you cultivate, you can realize this cessation of form and mind, which is enlightenment in the here and the night. This is what Nibbana is. Then when you go through that process and develop that realization, how long you stay inside depends. Of course, the word is, there is no one inside there, because the form and mind realize itself and cease. That cessation lasts how long depends on the condition. Sometimes it's a glimpse for sainthood way. As you cultivate and develop further understanding, this cessation can be longer. Then it can be like more stable, more what they call, it can illuminate that nature and become very, very different. So this thing, from there, it can manifest. The first thing that come out from that cessation is, if you have gone through that cessation or Nibbanic experience, or it's not an experience, Nibbana, that realization of Nibbana, then from there, the first thing that come out is this pure awareness nature, just that one. This one come out first, before it starts to develop what they call the activity of mind, before it become the mundane mind, the thinking mind, the five aggregate of mind. You will start to see the whole process of creation, how the senses with its sense bases and the sense data, how they slowly come in through your awareness, then how they interact with each other, then how it creates the 18 sense line. Upon contact, what happened, the paticca samuppada, you will see them all. Then you will realize the interplay of this mundane mind activity, how you function as a human being. So finally, this mundane mind, together with the physical body, we call it the five aggregate of form and mind, they actually animate into a human being. Then, through this activity, it created the phenomenal world of consciousness, or what we call the conditioned world. But this one is condition arising, dependent originating. Without the awareness nature within the pure awareness, this activity cannot start. Then without this activity, the form and mind cannot become animated into a living being. Then it cannot create the phenomenal world of consciousness. That's why what we are approaching is here, the conditioned world. Why do we call it the conditioned world? Conditioned world is because this is what the Buddha called condition arising phenomenal world. Actually, this world that we live in, we call it the existential world, where we exist within here. So existence is time related. That's why this one is time. This one is not the timeless. But when there is no thought activity, then you come back to here, the pure awareness. This is where the timeless is. 无念, no thought. Then when it ceases, this is the realization of that original nature, the true nature within, or the oneness. Whatever name you call it, this is what Nibbana is all about. Yeah. So from here, you develop all this activity. So now we need to understand what is the meaning of conditioned world and existential world, or phenomenal world of consciousness. This is what I mean by just now, before we start the class, I hinted to you all. This trip to Sabah, the spiritual trip, is very unique because I started explaining the Diamond Sutta stanza. Because this Diamond Sutta, the 4 stanzas are very, very powerful, full of wisdom. But within the cultivation, most people fail to develop the understanding of the first stanza. Most people's focus is on the second stanza because they believe that is where the wisdom is. And then, of course, the third stanza is just an extension of what the second stanza is. Then the fourth stanza is to remind you constantly that this is how you have to contemplate it. 应作如是观. So the first stanza, 一切有为法, is very important. So here the English translation is, within our conditioned world of conditioned Dhamma, or existential world, where there is the phenomenal world of consciousness, everything is dependent originating, condition arising. So this is what we call the conditioned Dhamma. So this word nature can also be the phenomenal world, the existential world, and the conditioned world. Within nature is conditioned Dhamma. So conditioned Dhamma is what Yu Wei Fa is all about. So you have to understand this stanza. Well, once you understand this stanza, you will penetrate all the other 3. But normal cultivator of the way, they are more interested in this. 如梦幻泡影. But if you fail to understand the first stanza, this second stanza, you may not have the deep understanding. You may think you know, but it's not penetrative. But when you understand the first stanza, this one automatically becomes clear. Most cultivators like to go for the second stanza because he said, 一切有为法 means everything within the conditioned world, or what they call existential world, they are conditioned Dhamma. So conditioned Dhamma means what? Dependent on condition, they arise. Can you follow? The other explanation by the Buddha is, whatever that arises, there are causes and conditions behind. You understand? The meaning is the same. whatever phenomena that arise within the phenomenal world, there are causes and conditions behind. Means what? They follow nature's law. Understand? Or? That's why I say everything within nature is conditioned Dhamma. Means they follow this nature's law. They are dependent, originating, condition arising, causal phenomena. It's already defined within the conditioned world. Understand? Or? And because of that, you will straight away understand why Asaji, when he repeated what the Buddha said to Sariputta before he became enlightened, straight away Sariputta awakened. That is this stanza. Asaji told Sariputta, he said, my teacher said, whatever that is of the nature to arise is of the nature to cease. Then whatever that arises, there are causes and conditions behind. And this condition, my teacher has explained. So that is under the 5 daily contemplation. That's why the 5th of the 5 daily contemplation, where the Buddha said, we are all, not only you, all living beings, not only human beings, born of our karma, heir to our karma, conditioned and supported by our karma, and we are what we are because of our karma. So this is the law of karma, moral causation. So everything that happens, there are causes and conditions behind. The causes and conditions behind are mostly related to karma. Understand? No? That's why we can understand the teaching in a very profound way. Everyone is different, where we have our conditioning from the past, our karmic conditioning, our karmic nature. That's why you are born of your karma, heir to your karma, conditioned and supported by your karma. And you are what you are because of your karma. And because of that, there is no reality, where everything is dependent, originating, condition arising, causal phenomena, not a permanent and changing entity. He know you, he know me. And it is not a permanent and changing entity, because it's dependent on condition it arises. When condition cease to be, it ceases to be. When condition continue to exist, it continues to sustain itself. And these are all activity. Understand now? That's why we call it the phenomenal world. And because it is dependent, originating, it is impermanent. Depending on condition it arises. When condition cease to be, it ceases to be. That's why it is not a permanent, unchanging entity. And is impermanent, following nature's law. So if you want things your way, which is not nature's way, what you develop is suffering. That's why the 3 universal characteristics are all linked to this first stanza. Do you understand? When you understand this, you awaken. Then you will know why within the conditioned world of conditioned Dhamma, everything is dreamlike. 如梦，幻 is illusion, 幻想的幻。泡 like a bubble and a shadow. Then this is what the phenomenal world is all about. The conditioned world is all about. No reality. Dreamlike. How real can a dream be? Understand? No? Arise and pass away, like the thought process. Illusion means born of your delusion, deluded. Without delusion, there is no illusion. That's why everything is the illusionary world, not what you think. There is a conditioned world, dependent, originating. That like a bubble, pop gone. Then like the shadow, like very real, keep on following you. But it's just a shadow, understand? No? Without the causes and conditions, this shadow cannot appear. They are all dependent, originating, condition arising. Then the third stanza is 如露亦如电, just like a morning dew and a lightning flash. How real can it be? It is just that condition that sustains it. Even the morning dew, not long, the dew is gone. But the lightning flash is for activity that are very fast, like your thought process, your emotion, your activity of mind. They are very fast. Then apart from the law of karma, there are also the other two spiritual laws. The law of mind, which follow the paticca samuppada or dwelling, how you function as a human being. You can see them all when you meditate with the awareness nature within. Then Dhamma, truth, you can awaken to it. You can see things as they are. You can insight into phenomena and awaken to the three universal characteristics of anicca, dukkha, and anatta. And because of that, you will understand very clearly the three spiritual law that is so unique, so beautiful, and can lead to sudden, tremendous awakening. And when you have all this wisdom developed and awakening realized, straight away you will understand the next three stanzas. And this is how you cultivate the Diamond Sutta. So this stanza, 一切有为法, is very powerful. You must contemplate, realize this. Once you realize this, the other three become very beautiful. So, Zulu Ilu Tian, I already explained. Not so real, not what you think. Like a morning dew and a lightning flash. It come and it go. Split second is gone. Like I explained. Moment to moment, life passes by. What are you doing? And this is the highest within life, existed, the present moment. The moment we talk about it, the present moment, it's already gone. Split second, it arises, gone. Arise, gone. And this is the highest in life, the only reality. So, how real can life be? How real can existence be? That's why Zulu, Ilu, Tian, like a lightning flash. Split second is gone. 应作如是观. You should contemplate it such to develop the wisdom. So this is for cultivator of the way to constantly reflect, contemplate, develop the understanding, then meditate to awaken. So if you stabilize your understanding of your first stanza, you become very beautiful. Then straight away you understand this. You understand the phenomenal world, the existential world. You understand form and mind. You understand how you function as a human being. And how you develop the coming from the source and all these things. So the karmic nature, of course, earlier on I write down, there is a spiritual nature that you develop after you develop the cultivation, perfection, and the understanding. Then there is a karmic nature that bring forth the coming, the rebirth. So the karmic is here. When your karmic nature is there, this birth process keep on arising. The segmented life, then this phenomenal world. So this is where the conditioned world is. Then the spiritual nature is when you cultivate the spiritual understanding, the perfection, then it develops into the spiritual nature to develop the perfection of cultivation to become Samma Sambuddha. Once you become the Samma Sambuddha, you have the all-knowing understanding, then you can return to the source and understand what the source is. That's why the Buddha, Samma Sambuddha, when they arise, from here they have all the full understanding because of their perfection. And through their perfection, they develop the ability to become Samma Sambuddha, that life with a form and mind. That's why they have very unique quality, understanding. And this is possible because cultivator of the way has gone through so much aeons and aeons and aeons, uncountable aeons of perfection and cultivation. Even the Buddhas are countless. Not to say living being is a lot more. Because to be a Sammasambuddha is very rare. But there are a lot of Sammasambuddha over the long period of existence. So all this is what the teaching is all about. So Diamond Sutta is very beautiful, very important. So this one is Diamond Sutta. Okay. So is it clear? What's the time now? Oh, almost. Just almost time, 9:42. Okay, good. Okay, so maybe I will stop here. I will stop here. So at least we finish 2 stanzas. Then the next Thursday we can do unique Dhamma Code 81. Okay. Today my intention is to share this understanding of the first stanza of the Diamond Sutta. 一切有为法. Everything within nature or the conditioned world, they are all conditioned Dhamma. Once you understand this, you will penetrate the whole teaching. You will awaken. And you become very different after that. That's why the first stanza actually is not difficult. If you pay attention to the teaching, what the Buddha said, he just used simple words. Whatever arises, there are causes and conditions behind. This is explaining the condition Dhamma. Then, of course, we also have the other teachings. Then, the other teaching that the Buddha taught is the Paticca Samuppada, law of mind, Citta Niyama. So, how you function as a human being, how your mind actually develops the movement and the activity, they are all explained in the teaching. That's why the Paticca Samuppada, or the 12 link, or they call it in Pali, another word is Ita Pacchata. This is what the Buddha explained and taught. He proclaimed this Dhamma. He said, this is the dependent originating Dhamma. Everything that arises within the thought process, they are conditioned Dhamma. That's why in the Dhammapada verse 1 and verse 2, he said, mind is the forerunner of all things. Mind is chief. When mind arises, all things arise. So mind make adi. So in the Mahayana, they use this word, 一切唯心造. That particular sentence is very powerful. Everything arises from the mind. That is referring to both the true mind and the mundane mind. From the true mind, this mundane mind arises. And when the mundane mind arises, all things within the phenomenal world arise. Can you understand? This is the Dhamma that I want to share so that it's recorded. Because the one that we share at our Sabbath trip is just the audio, just the audio file. And the audio file, I don't have whiteboard, I don't have proper, what they call, condition to express all this understanding because we are on the spiritual trip. So there, I gave some example. Then I actually try to explain this so that they understand. You go and listen to the 2 audio files, you will pick up the message. But today is especially for all those who didn't attend the spiritual tree. Sadhu, 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 so that you all can have clearer, deeper understanding of this. In fact, the true cultivation is understanding the Diamond Sutta. That's it. And the first stanza is most important, because the Buddha actually taught the essential Dhamma in a very simple manner. He just told Asachi Deo, whatever arises, there are causes and conditions behind. And he explained the other essential Dhamma to explain the causes and conditions behind. One of them is the Karma Niyama, the fifth daily contemplation. Then the other four are the nature's law, under the Pancha Niyamas, the five orders of nature. Apart from Karma Niyama, there is the order of the mind, Chitta Niyama, then the order of truth, Dhamma Niyama. These three spiritual laws, very powerful. Then the other two are scientific law, Uttu Niyama and Bija Niyama, means nature's physical order of nature and nature's biological order. So these two are towards thought-based. They are mainly related to thought, science, technology, nothing spiritual. But they all five interact and created the conditioned world, phenomenal world. We sometimes call it the existential world. So when you understand this from first principle, the first stanza, then contemplate until very clear that all the other essential Dhamma that the Buddha taught, the three universal characteristics, the anicca, dukkha, anatta, and all the other essential Dhamma of the Pancha Niyama, everything, the dependent origination, they are all there. Then how he structured his essential Dhamma to bring forth the causes and conditions to teach the monks and the devotee at that time. They are all there. So this is, to me, most important. When you understand conditioned Dhamma, you understand the deeper aspect of life. Because, like I always explain to you all, Yu Wei Fa, Wu Wei Fa, you remember? Conditioned Dhamma is what life is all about, living is all about. Whereas the emphasis on cultivator is always on the unconditioned Dhamma, to realize the enlightenment. But realizing the enlightenment, to be free, to be liberated, is just one small aspect of cultivation. To me, that one is not the real understanding. That one maybe can transform the individual cultivator into sainthood ways. You can realize the first stage of sainthood, Sotapanna shape, then Sakadagami shape, second stage of sainthood, Anagami shape, third stage of, or even Arahant. But the true understanding about living life, the conditioned Dhamma is more important. Once you understand both sides, then you know how to live life. You know how to come. That's why the Bodhisattva way, they keep on coming. It's very, very wonderful. True emptiness leads to wonderful existence. 真空妙有. That's why life becomes wonderful, meaningful, amazingly unique. So understanding conditioned Dhamma to me is very extensive, very beautiful, very rewarding, and very unique. And when you have this understanding, every existence, every life, you choose to come. As a Bodhisattva, you can choose to come. That every segment of your life, with this understanding, you are most beautiful. That's why you follow the yellow card. Take the Bodhisattva way, with all the right view, right understanding. Every life you come with this understanding, you become exceptionally beautiful. Then you understand life very deeply. You know how to live life. Okay? So this complete what I want to share today. I think it's very comprehensive. Huh? So hopefully this is recorded. Huh? Okay, so now we can have our second session. We'll open up for meditation reporting, followed by whatever question that you may have, and also Dhamma sharing, based on today's topic or whatever Dhamma in daily life that you have come across. You can share them.
Dear Mr. Steele, Organita 晚上好。
Yeah.
不然就今天这个一切有为法，哇，非常的好。
非常好。Become very clear.
Yeah.
就整个 understanding 就不一样了。
每次听讲华语一切有为法，你知道它是很 profound，但是刚才 bro 就你在讲这个，你用这个英文讲 everything within nature 的时候，刚才我在看着你在 explain， 我在听着你讲的时候，我整个人有一个 moment 来，我可以 feel 到来，我整个人觉得哇，这个 everything 跟这个 nature 这两个字是多
complete very expansive and very wide in its understanding。
尤其你看这个 nature，我们讲在这个 nature 这个自然，它是多么的 wide，
对，大自然
对，在这个大自然里面它是多么的广，多么的大。在这个大自然里面，所有的一切的东西在里面
也是有为法。
对，它的升起，它的所有的一切
生灭、升起，
大大小小
，all the activity, all the movement，
对，所有的 activity， 所有的 movement， 所有的大大小小的事情，在这个 nature 里面，哇，它是多么的大。
好像你们有那个 Mandarin word 万物
对，
一模一样。
那可是我一听，哇，我真的觉得。
So like it awaken your understanding that this 有为法 is 一切 is not what you think of. It is the whole of existence, whole of nature. And 有为法、无为法 you must understand both conditioned Dhamma and unconditioned Dhamma in order to understand life and live life. That part of the teaching is missing. Most of the teaching emphasize on the unconditioned Dhamma to awaken on it. That's why they are more interested in the second stanza. They try to explain to you dreamlike, illusion, bubble and shadow, not real, not what you think. But the gist of it, the content, the true understanding is not there. Because you fail to understand the first stanza. Like now, when you understand the first stanza, from now onward, your understanding of the second, third, and fourth become very different. Then you like to contemplate. And the more you contemplate, the more stable your understanding is. Then you can extend it to a lot of things. So this is where the uniqueness and beauty of the Dhamma is. That's why I realize this is a stanza that people cannot understand. And it so happened very strange when I was in Sabah. You remember the first night when I shared, towards the end you all realize there is this stillness, completely very still, very quiet, like all the beings are listening. There is like this teaching need to be passed on to people. That's why I started to share this. And then when I came back, I decided this Thursday class I will share this for the benefit of those who didn't go. This trip actually you all must not have the misunderstanding. Don't think that we limit it to a few. No. What happened was Manyuan, she's worked for Bank Nagara. She got a lot of resort under Bank Nagara which is cheap and worthy to visit and go. Then we talk about it so many times. Until finally, she keep on suggesting to me, we got in Penang, in other state, and all those things, especially those good resorts. Then suddenly, I don't know why she suggests, But Sabah also have. Sarawak also have. So because of that, I said, oh, Sabah, I've been there before. I said, it will be interesting if you want to organize. But I like the nature there, the Kundasan area. All those. So I said, okay, if you're interested, you go and contact Yun Chan because she organized that trip for us 11 years ago. It was a very good trip though. So I said, you are new, I let you develop the experience. Because she first time organizing. Like last time, I remember Pamasuri, a spiritual trip, he asked me, Bertil, let me try for the first time. And she become very good after that. The experience, the exposure. Like this trip at first, Manyan also, in between, I remember the third day or fourth day, she, even the last day at the airport, she still come and talk to me and ask for forgiveness. I say, forget about it. I say, don't worry about all these things. This is what your thought create. Means he know he is responsible. So whatever limitation or things that didn't work out well, he like feel guilty and so want to take the blame. I say, forget about it. Then luckily Eng Bee was at the side there. Eng Bee at the retreat, not retreat, this spiritual retreat, she also very good. She quoted this sentence. He said, 过去心不可得. Oh, that one is very profound. I said, you must understand this. Why you want to hold on to the thought, hold on to the past and develop remorse, worry? Your brother, I shouldn't have done this, I shouldn't have done that, I should have been more tactful, I should have got a better hotel. You know? I said, these are all no more reality. The reality is you organize that trip, we agree to the activity, then finally how it turned out is for you to learn. And that's how the Dhamma inside there. So much Dhamma. But if you continue to dwell on the thought, you are no different from a Puthujjana who doesn't have the cultivation. That's how. Worry about this, worry about that. Then every time, like most people, I want to ask for forgiveness. Not to say it's a bad practice, it's a good practice, but do not allow it to affect you, understand now? You ask for forgiveness because this is to prevent unnecessary karmic thing. But for me, you know my nature, I already forgiven all beings. As long as you request, it will materialize. Then what is important is, with this understanding, when you come and discuss things or what, you must have the understanding that don't hold on to the past and worry about it and like try to be remorseful to say you are sorry, you have not done enough. I say, forget about all this. You are a cultivator. So all this understanding you will develop. That's why later on she smiled. Then she was very happy. I said, this is for you to learn, like I said, for you to learn. Remember that word. Cultivation is about learning, moving on. When you learn, straighten your view, understand, and move on. Don't hold on to the past and worry about the future and create unnecessary mind state. Then you are no different from ordinary living being. So because of that, I think Amy also rejoiced. She also rejoiced, and the others who had the understanding also rejoiced. That's why it may be a simple spiritual trip, but you develop a lot of understanding. And like I say, Iche Yuefa means what? This spiritual trip would not have taken place, understand? Unless there are causes and conditions. And what are the causes and conditions? This type of Dhamma needs to come out, understand? That's why it falls into place and it materializes and becomes so beautiful. So she should actually rejoice that all these are happening, so unfolding. And this is the parami that you will receive. Even Pamasuri, they all Mr. Organize, they don't know. These are the parami that have actually unfolded and it has become so beautiful. And it's all mostly recorded. Then we have it in our sharing and all this, what they call spiritual trip sharing. They are all very unique and very beautiful. That's why this 一切有为法 is unending one. Like I told Manya, if you are not trigger off, you are not come to me, you have not discussed all this, then it won't happen. Then the rest who's supposed to go, I say, will be those who finally go. H.H. Napoleon, that was the last. She finally came. At first, I think Manyan told me, but Tio, only 4 of us. I said, you don't worry, because I think Brother Tio and Pamasui not free. So because they don't put their name in, I think the rest all also don't know, want to wait for last minute. But luckily towards the end, I didn't do anything. But all of them start to put their name in. Then we have 10. Oh, at first Manyan was worried. I said, Brother Tio, 4, how? I say, why you worry? Let things be. So condition will manifest. If it's meant to be, it will be. Like our retreat coming on. If that date can be agreed on, is very good. Tentatively, I think Fachan Sifu did mention that the 18th of October until 26th of October, that 9 days. They say shouldn't be a problem, but they need reconfirmation. So we need to be patient, wait for it. So this is for Kayamita who listen to this sharing, so that you make the date free if you want to attend. Then we have more numbers, but we have to limit it to certain number. Belfachan Sifu also caution us not to big a crowd. Because they are still responsible as a temple management. So this is what we need to have understanding. It's not to say we purposely have a limited number of Kayamita, you don't want to open up. No, nothing to do with that. It so happen condition is such that we cannot afford to have a big group to go to Sabha. So that's how things happen. Okay, Song, you continue. Very good.
在这个 nature 里面，如果我们的心一升起 ，everything 就升起。
对，that's why 起心动念嘛，
当这个心一起来，世间所有的法也跟着起来。
对，沙度，
四圣地也来了。
Yeah.
Buddha 的所有的essential Dharma 一个的也跟着上来。所以所有的这一切的这个世间都是我们的这个心，因为我们这个心
世间法condition Dharma，
对，我们的这个心一动，全部都上来了。
所以沙度。Now you understand why the Buddha say 那个 Dhammapada was 1 and 2。Mind make are they. Everything arises from the mind. Mind is the forerunner of all things. 那个就是它的名，一切为心造，心 the mundane mind 造成的。Without the mundane mind, all this doesn't exist. But the mundane mind, it arises from that true mind. That true mind. That's why those who understand, even like Po and Sang Lao say, when you are without thought, that is your true mind. 无念就是真心。This is the wisdom that cultivator will have. 起心动念，起心即无明。All these are very beautiful words. That's why that time Miss Lee asked me, I said, your teacher is very wise. Po and Sang Lao is very wise. For her to have these words. And she cannot understand at that time. She asked me, very devoted, can you explain what these 3 stanzas are? Then after I explained, we had it in our Heart Sutta. That's why it's all very beautiful. Okay, so continue.
本来无一物
那个真的好料，
就是因为那个心一动一想，这整个世间它就 arise 了。
是咯，
哇，里面真的是很多的 Dharma， 所以就变成我们在 daily 里面，我们一定要去 aware， 每一天要去 aware 我们的每一个的念头，对，每一个的你的念头，因为这个念
thought activity and movement，
这个 thought activity 创造了这整个的
世间法
的世间的一切，所以就很像那个 我突然间想到，就像我们那天去看那个那个花这样
啊，对，
它本来是没有，但是它就从一个小小个的
对
一个花
对，
然后它慢慢的
对，
开到变成它是全世界
最大的花啊，
就是因为它本来是没有的，把它一 arise 的时候，就变成了一切，然后就变成了，如果我们不 aware 的话，我们就会被它。你看这个花也只不过是一个 moment 罢了，
对，
它又灭去了，
就灭去了，
所以它是一个 delusion 来的，
对，
就这样子。但是如果我们执着于它，我们看到了
then you create attachment and all things But what you should see is like you mentioned just now, is a condition arising entity. There is a name in English. What is the name of it? Raphazia. So 那个名字actually when you look at the plant, when it was very small, you never realize that it can become a flower so big and so beautiful. And 它一生的时候它 will remain for 7 days. After that 就灭了。That's why they collect money if people go in to see. But we all senior citizen all free. So only 4 of them pay money. And it's not cheap, 20 ringgit each. That's why when you go on spiritual trip, you will experience all the conditioned Dhamma and the unconditional. Just now what Saul mentioned, 本来无一物, that is the unconditioned Dhamma. Because within the true mind, there is nothing. 本来无一物，何处惹尘埃? Thus is created by the thought. Understand? Conditioned Dhamma. How can the conditioned Dhamma exist within the true mind, which is unconditioned? That's why 一切无一物，何处惹尘埃? But from there, that nature, everything arises. Understand? That's why 五祖when he explained the Diamond Sutta to Hui Neng, when he reached the part about the mundane mind, do not be deluded by it, and use it. Understand? Through understanding, he came to complete awakening. Then he said, how amazing it is that the nature is complete by itself. And how amazing it is, all Dhamma arise from that nature. Enlightened being will know that, will realize that. That's why 现在你悟到了你就慢慢 stabilize 你的 understanding. After that, all this teaching, the stanza all become very clear to you. No wonder Hui Ning expressed it that way, so beautifully. So 很好 sadhu, so continue, yeah.
我就突然间很像很多Dhamma.
Yeah. That's why it prepare you for your retreat. Your 1 month retreat will be very different this time.
最重要的就是回到 daily， 我们一定要去如实观的这个所有我们的起心动念。
对，
因为你的心一起了，这个世界就创造了。
对
，karma 也来了。
对。
然后四圣谛也来了。
Yeah.
全部都来。
对。
但是如果我们得算就是 living being， 如果我们没有这个awareness 的话，你会被他溜。
Yeah.
你被他抓去，你就会attach 它，
对，
你会有 delusion，
give meaning， then you like think it's very real. This is what life is all about. Then 你就会去 like 那个 sentiment become sentimental over it. Then 你就给它抓去了咯。Then suffering will be the result when you attach. Everything follow nature's law. Like the physical body, it goes the way of nature. It's of the nature to be born, to get old, to get sick and die. This is the form, not you. So, understanding all this is very beautiful, very profound. So when you develop all this understanding, then when you cultivate, you become different. Then when you go to retreat, you again become different. But when you go to retreat, you just silence your mind, develop the stability of awareness, until the transformation comes. Then all the others will follow. Then when you are free, reflect, contemplate, surprisingly with that mind that is in that stillness and awareness, the contemplative understanding keep on unfolding. I realized in the early days when I was cultivating, wow, like nobody taught me all this, no. Of course, part of it is I connect back to my spiritual nature and all this come back to me. Then when I contemplate, when I reflect, all the understanding unfold, the whole Noble Eightfold Path becomes so clear, no? And all the Dhamma become very clear. I don't have the luxury of a teacher teaching me all this, no. That's why you all very unique, this sasana, this era. Because I have this mission. And I promise Maitreya and Kwachi to deliver this true Dhamma, 请你把正法传下去. So these are all the causes and conditions behind. And this is to help the cultivator in the future. They will expand from here and become even more beautiful and unique. And the teaching can actually become very different. 很好，
不是就很像你讲的，我们每个人通常我们会去比较看重那个如梦幻泡影，
对，
如露亦如电，
对。
但是你那天在沙发你一讲，你说我们应该要 emphasize 一切有为法的时候，
那个
哇，我很像
是咯，
我就觉得是我，然后我就刚才你在 explain 的时候，我讲对了，真的，
对，
当你一明白这个 everything 跟这个 nature 这两个字。你很 deep 的去 contemplate 去了解的时候，哇，后面全部它
整个 understanding of 有为法 the phenomenal world become very clear to you. Then you will know why is 如梦幻泡影 why is 如露亦如电. So all this become clear to you. Then 应作如是观 you understand or not, you have to contemplate it such. Yeah? It is suchness. 应作如 is suchness. 是观 you have to contemplate it in such a manner. That's why it's very beautiful. And the next one that you have to penetrate is what else? After this 一切有为法 is the second hallmark of healing. 无相无你我相无众生相无法相 everything means no mark of a self cultivating. That one, when you penetrate, you will not attach, you will not cling. Then no mark of living beings and others. Then when you don't exist, how can others exist? Then no mark of life, no mark of existence, no mark of the conditioned Dhamma. All this is within the conditioned world. That's why I say the conditioned world has its duality, has its meaning. Understand? That's why there is such thing as life within the conditioned world, even though it's moment to moment, impermanent, lead to suffering, then empty nature. But there is such thing as life, because the form and mind is subject to karma, no more the unconditioned. That's no. So it has its own reality. That's why this conditioned Dhamma aspect is very profound and the most important in cultivation. If you don't have this, you end up sainthood way. When you want to have this, you go the Bodhisattva way. That's why it's very, very unique. The understanding is very, very wide. And it's like, it covers the entire existence, the civilization, everything. And there is a lot of things inside there. Which actually living being cannot develop understanding unless you have the Dhamma develop and awaken for both the conditioned Dhamma and unconditioned Dhamma. And that one I've been teaching you all, but in the early day I cannot talk much because hardly anybody understands. Because the unconditioned Dhamma is what everybody is looking for, to awaken, to be enlightened. A lot of people say, first stage of sainthood already very contented, already very happy already, like Amitabha already. But now, after you develop the understanding of the what they call basic Dhamma of the sainthood way, That's why in the what do we call 妙法莲华经, our Lotus Sutta that we are sharing, the Buddha mentioned, finally, he only teach the supreme vehicle. Understand? There is only one vehicle, no three vehicles. The three vehicles are the skillful means to lead people into it. But when you understand this, you will never stop at the first two vehicles. Understand? Means the sainthood way and the silent Pajeka Buddha. You will go for this supreme vehicle. So if you follow the Lotus Sutta teaching, all this become very clear. That's why this is the missing link, understanding life. And life is our greatest teacher. We develop a lot of cultivation and understanding from life. That's why without the constant coming, the segmented life or the Bodhisattva, you can never develop this perfection and understanding. Very good. Sadhu. 哇，今天很好。
所以刚才 Roger 你在讲这个一切有为法的时候，你讲 everything within nature， 我忽然间我觉得
It will strike you， 对，因为你 going through that process 嘛，
然后我里面就很多的然后我里面很多的哇，是圣地也来了，然后那个Aspirations， 哇，那种 essential Dharma 一个
那个法喜性就现出来，
那些 essential Dharma
好像 Alicia 这样，
一直这样子，
对，
然后我就想原来是在这个第一个的一切有为法，它就是
the whole understanding is there. Once you understand that, you penetrate the rest. That's why 在沙巴我 hinted to you all 嘛，a lot of cultivators miss the understanding. Well, they think the first stanza is very easy. They believe they know, but actually they don't know. But that one is very profound. You need to understand the whole thing, both sides. After you clear the unconditioned Dhamma, then you go into the conditioned Dhamma, then only you see all this. The one Wu, everything manifests. Then you realize everything is interconnected, interlinked, interdependent, dependent on anything else. Then no reality. That's why I say after this, you will go to no mark. 那个你一 penetrate 不久你的满地脉就 collapse 了。So the 六祖慧能I tell you his 3 hallmark is fantastic. 无念、无相、无住。These 3, when we visited the 6 Patriarch spiritual tree, you remember? All the column there, written all this, the 3 hallmark of Huining. I keep pointing to all this, then I think Engbi know how to read, my wife also know how to read. There were a lot of joy when we saw the 3 hallmark put on all the pillars. Because this type of cultivation is beyond the thought-based sainthood way. That's why when he teach, he is so different from Shen Xiu. Shen Xiu still follow traditional thought-based Dhamma and teach. He never teach from the nature, but he failed to realize the true mind. But maybe later he realized. After Huining become very famous, then he asked his disciple go and learn, then come back and relate to him. So all these are beautiful. Sadhu, continue.
所以生活真的就是一个法。
对一个很奥妙的法门。
everything 就在生活。
That's why life itself is the greatest Dhamma, the greatest gift. But this is what existence is, life. And there is such thing as life, even though it's impermanent, not so real. Split second is gone, split second. But there is such thing as life, existence, the beauty of it, the wonders of it. So all this will manifest when you understand.
所以就觉得哇，人的这个一切有为法真的是 everything 就在里面。
对，
所有东西全部都在里面。
你要了解的就是那一个 stanza 罢了。That's why 有为法无为法，these two combine complete the total understanding, the full understanding.
所以明白了以后就要去生活上去去 go through， 去 cultivate， 就像这一次我们
make it a living reality，
就 as 一个生活的一个法，就很像我们这次的在这个沙巴的这个，
对，
它就是一个很好的一个法。去看到我们自己的 mind 里面被stir，然后我们被这个也可以观察那个 nature 的。So everything 你怎样的去 perceive， 来 ，like， 就很像那个云这样每天 cover。对，它每天一直在那边变化。你的 mind 怎样的去 perceive 那个云的话，法就升起来，everything 就升起来了。就是看你怎样的去一次去 interpret， 那么你的 mind 就怎样的掉进去里面。如果你有 aware 的话，你就马上 stop； 如果没有的话，你就掉了进去，然后你去 grasping 它，你去 attach 它，你执着它。那所以说为什么会这样？为什么？哇！
就好像你以前reasoning analyzing没有用的，别的 thought is always deceiving the living being to use the thought to analyze and do what they call analysis and reasoning. So 这个 analysis and reasoning come from the thought. The thought want to know. The thought want to like justify, explain, and argue, give idea, divide, create order, religion, the word to divide. And by itself actually is limited. It's dependent originating, condition arising. That's why I always say it's only a thought. How come it has such power over living being? Can make them so miserable, so unhappy, even develop depression, commit suicide and all those things. It's all just a thought. It's only a thought. How come it has such power? Then the question is, who gave those thoughts such power? It's through delusion. The form and mind, through delusion, succumb to it without its own understanding and realization. That's why they got trapped. They got conditioned into misery, into suffering. Then they are trapped within that. That's why it creates affliction, suffering, misery. Then the mental suffering followed by physical suffering. And our conditioned world is full of people having mental issue, mental problem, life-related problem. So all this, when you don't have the Dhamma, you cannot see. Then they keep on getting angry, unhappy, blaming, developing the fear, the phobia, the remorse. All these are delusion. Delusion, conditioning all this mind state. Actually, life is very beautiful, very meaningful, very wonderful, very simple when you understand. Like I said, no such thing. He know you, he know me, no mark. We can have relationship, we can have family, children, but we understand these are conditioned Dhamma. We do our duty, and the form in my has its duty. That's it, finish. Don't go and like normal people. Are you attached until? Are you why my children? Why me? Like the Buddha said, whatever is of the nature to arise is of the nature to cease. So what has arisen has already come to pass. No amount of suffering and grief can actually bring back the dead. That one is a very profound statement. No amount of sorrow, lamentation, grief can bring back the dead. Why you want to lament? Accept, everything is conditioned Dhamma, not what you think. He know you, he know me. Yeah, undeniable. We are the parent, they are our children. So what? They have their karma, understand? They have their life. When they understand, they become beautiful. When they don't understand, their life will be the other way around. So when you see all this clearly, then you have the understanding to understand life. Then when you understand life, you can live life. Otherwise, you cannot live. Otherwise, The first noble true reality, I tell you, a lot of people hit. Cultivator of the way who don't penetrate the true Dhamma, they also hit. So 很好 Sadhu, very beautiful. 今天的 sharing, so 你 summarize
这个 Buddha Dharma 真的是很 wonderful。短短的一个这个 stanza 这几个字，
对，
它就包括了一切的这整个的这个法就在这个 stanza 里面。如果我们能够去cultivate 去 penetrate 去build 那个 understanding 的话，我们就能够从这个苦海里面就脱离出来。其实也没有苦海，苦海也是一个 reality， 是我们的这个 mind 去创造的。所以一切都是唯心造。如果你的心，如果你有了这个 understanding， 我们好好的去观它，在生活上的话，就没有这一切了。
对，本来无一物嘛，本来无一物，因为这 thought created 苦海嘛，但是四圣谛也是 Dhamma created by the existential world。但是心经有讲嘛 ，within true emptiness， even 四圣谛都没有 ，don't exist。There is no OA, sickness and death, nothing of this, because that is the unconditioned Dhamma. But within the conditioned Dhamma, everything exists. So 这个有为法的无为法 ，you have to understand it. Then you cannot be confused. Then you won't be like caught in between. If you don't have the clear understanding, it's like very conflicting one. When you come to conditioned Dhamma, hey, you say, hey no you, hey no me, why you bother? Then they argue with you. It's not like that. The conditioned Dhamma recognizes karma. There is such thing as karma, and the form and mind has to do its duty to break free from that karmic law. Otherwise, it suffer, and suffering can be as real as what it is when you don't have the understanding of the true teaching of the conditioned Dhamma. So these are all very beautiful. Sadhu, how? Thank you so much. Let us rejoice. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, we will do the sharing now. Akasatta cha bhumata devanaga mahindika punyang tang anumoditva chirang rakantu lokasasana etta vata chamehi sampadan punya sampadan sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampati siddhya idang me nyatinang hotu sukhita hontu nyatayo idang me nyatinang hotu sukhita hontu nyatayo idang me nyatinang hotu sukhita hontu nyatayo devo asatu kalena sasa sampati heto cha Pito bhavatu loko cha Raja bhavatu dhammiko Imina punyang kamena Mame bala samagamo Sattang samagamo hotu Yawa nivana patiya Sadhu Sadhu Sadhu. Okay, let us pay respect mindfully to Lord Buddha, Kuan Yin Bodhisattva, and all the worthy ones. Then we end. Sadhu.